Alright, this is going to be a video on how to use Text Tool. Text Tool is a sketch tool, meaning it could be either an extruded cut or it can be an extruded boss base. For this one, I'm going to do an extruded cut on this top face here. And the Text Tool is the letter A up here in the Sketch tab. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And there's quite a bit of info over here on the left side of the screen. First of all, you get this big box where you can type in your text. Now you will see the text, it usually starts down here at the origin point, but you can move it simply by clicking the mouse button to move the text around. Be careful, if you do click on an edge, what it will do is it will stick the text to that edge. That may be something you want to do, but in a lot of cases, it's not what you want to do. If that does happen, if you just click the edge again, it'll kind of get rid of it. Or up here where it says curves, you can just delete edge 1 and it'll put it back to where you want it. Now what you'll notice though is the text is very small. Obviously we want to make this bigger. So if you look down here, kind of in the bottom left, you'll see it says use document font and there's a little check mark. So what document font is it's kind of the default font. And we don't want to use a default font. We want to use our own font. So I'm going to unselect this because I do not want to use the document font. And you'll see this little font button is going to light up. So if I uncheck it, now I can click where it says font. And we get this little window. And we get a big selection of different fonts. These are kind of the same fonts that you would see in just about any program like Microsoft Word. So a lot of pretty typical fonts that you would see. You do have options like you can make it bolded if you want to. Now as far as the size of the font, there's two different ways to do this. There is units and points. Units is going to be an actual measurement. So if you need your font to be, let's say, 1 inch tall, you can make your font exactly 1 inch tall. Now, a lot of people are more common, they're a lot more familiar with the points system that you see in Word and PowerPoint. Now, if you want to use points, you do have to click this little bubble first to activate it. And then now we can go through and change our points. Now, you do notice it only goes up to 72, but you can type in a number. So if you need to go bigger, you can just type in, like, let's say, 100 point font, and that'll make the text a lot bigger. Also, you can type in a number that's kind of like in between. So for example, we got 28 and 36. If you need to, if you need to make it 32, you could also do that and just click OK. There's a couple more little options over here. These two options, the first one is how wide the letters are, so you can make your letters wider. And then this one over here is spacing, which is how far apart the letters are. Now, sometimes you may need to use spacing because there's a couple fonts that are very, very close together. And if the letters are too close together, what happens is they might overlap each other. And we know if you have sketch lines that are overlapping each other, it can create a lot of issues when you go to extrude it. So it's a good idea to kind of zoom in and check to make sure that nothing's overlapping. Like I can actually see, I think this font might actually have some issues. You notice this letter right here, there's a little overlap. And I'm not sure if we space it, if it's going to fix it. I think in this case, I might just have to go with a different font. So in this case, I don't think we're going to have, well, we got a little close there. I might have to spread that out. There we go. So you do want to look over this, make sure nothing's overlapping each other, because you do get that a lot more often than you think. And you'll know if you have text overlapping when you click Exit Sketch, if it doesn't like extrude properly. That's usually the reason. Okay, I'm just going to green check, and then I'm going to exit out of my sketch. Now you do want to be careful whenever you're using extruded cut with text tool, and I'm going to show you why. I'm actually going to cut the text all the way through, and I want to show you why that can be a problem. So I cut the text all the way through, so we can see it goes all the way through the part. But here is the issue. Oh, not like that. What happens is if you cut all the way through, you get these like little islands, is what I call them, on certain letters, like an A, an O, capital P. So you'll see you get these like little islands that are just kind of floating. So like if you were to go ahead and 3D print this little island, it will print, but like whenever you take it off the printer platform, this little piece of plastic's like not attached to anything. So if you're going to do text and you're going to do a cut extrude, it's generally a better idea to not cut all the way through. Just kind of cut in a little bit like this. So we don't want it to go all the way through. That way these little islands are attached. There may be some cases where you do want to go all the way through. You know, if you're aware of what letters you're using and you know that you're not going to get any of those islands, then, you know, you could do that. But it's always kind of a safe bet to do kind of these engravings. And you could do this with extruded boss base also. You know, if you want the text to go outwards, you could do the same thing. You could do something like that. So that is how to use the text tool.